Hi, my name is Bobby Lee. I also go by Bobinator on YouTube, and this is my friend Emran.
I'm Emran Fazuli from Emran's Movie Madhouse, formerly Critterbusters, but my channel is presently on hiatus. But
Yeah,
this video is actually going to be just a bit of a fun discussion because Bobby is a very good
it,
friend of mine, and
yeah.
some big news has arrived. So
It it
let's go.
it really took them so long. If you guys don't know what's going on, Fist of the North Star, one of the coolest old school anime series, manga series as well, is finally being published by Viz Media. Is that right? Is that right? Published?
That is correct. It's being published for the third time in English, and hopefully this time it will be complete. I
Yeah,
mean, this has been a long time coming. I mean, Fist of the North Star has been out of publication for almost 20 years. Can you believe
yeah.
that? 17 to be exact, since
Wow.
2003, when
Yeah,
Raijin Comics last did it, and it was very short lived.
yeah.
You know,
How many volumes did it get to?
Viz did license this series way back in 89 and 95 to 97. They released the complete 44 chapters in these four graphic novels. So Fist of the North
Yeah,
Star, Fist of the North Star, Night of the Jackal, which I believe is part two. Yep.
yep.
Then they called the third volume Southern Cross.
Southern Cross.
And the final volume, which is Blood Brothers, which is basically the Jaggy arc wrapped up. So just show you at the end, to be continued, or the end for
Yeah,
now. And I remember somewhere along the
yeah,
lines, on VIZ's Facebook page, somebody posted a picture saying maybe someday in the future Viz will release the rest of Fist of the North Star. And who would have thought now, 17 years later, since
yeah,
Fist of the North Star was last released, because after Viz finished, we had Raijin Comics, who put out those master
yeah,
editions, those color page master editions. They did nine
yeah,
volumes of that, I believe.
yeah. That's
And I
right.
think it was 76 chapters. So they went a little further. So they went
Yeah,
much further than Viz did. And all of a sudden they disappeared. It just stopped. It didn't do
yeah,
as well as they hoped. But yeah, man, I mean,
yeah,
that's what happened. And all of a sudden now it's back in hardcover
yeah,
format.
yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And probably didn't know about this until the anime hero brought it up
Yeah, that's
on his
right.
YouTube channel.
And we
Yeah,
highly recommend watching the Anime Hero for anybody who hasn't heard of
yeah,
this guy. Fantastic, really good work. But that
yeah.
reaction video summed it up. It was just like he passed out with excitement. There was a
Really, really amazing YouTuber.
Yeah, really cool
Yeah,
stuff. But man, it's been a long time coming. What can I
yeah.
say?
I mean, the series that really inspired uh, the the sh- the shonen mangas that came after
Yeah.
JoJo, Dragon Ball.
Oh, tons of them. I mean, Fist of the North Star is so influential, yet why isn't it why isn't it more popular, is which really dwarfs my mind. I can think of a few reasons as to why, but it is popular and it kind of isn't. It's really strange. I think it has what they call a cult following in the West. In
Yeah,
Japan and Italy, Fist of the North Star is huge, you know.
yeah,
But I do agree. I think that it is geared towards primarily a male audience. There really isn't a lot of crossover appeal to Fist of the North
yeah,
Star. But I do think that the story is classic. It's universal. It's, in fact, the story, I think, is very much a very old story. It feels like it's 1,000 years old or something. It has
yeah.
that
It
kind
does.
of Roman Greek tragedy to it at times.
Yeah,
But
and and
yeah,
also for its time, the art for its time was really impressive.
it's still impressive. There's
Yeah,
no other manga that really looks like it. To this day. I mean, yeah, JoJo came out after, and many other mangas tried to copy it, but Fist of the North Star did it first, and I think did it
yeah,
better. Honestly, I mean, JoJo added pretty much just some more fanciful clothing, I think.
Yeah.
And Araki even changed his art style because he was being compared to Fist of the North Star. To
Yeah.
avoid comparisons, he wanted to give himself more of an identity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's truly remarkable. Bobby, how did you first get into Fist of the North Star?
Here's the funny story. I I was when I was first introduced to anime, it was mostly like M M15 anime and
Yeah,
even Ninja Scroll as well. Like that, I'll have to thank my cousins for that because
that was an
they
18 rated one.
yeah, I was like, damn.
For one scene,
And
though, like if you think
yeah,
about it, I mean, Ninja Scroll is not as violent as Fist of the North Star.
yeah,
It's just got one scene that was really objectionable. It's a sex scene, of course, well, or a rape scene, really.
yeah.
And that was the only
It's
thing.
not just that, but the gore in it too, and that's something that Fist of the North Star is very known for.
Yes,
But
and
anyways, I was actually introduced to Fist of the North Star from my cousin because he had the VHS.
nice. And it was the movie, right? The animated
Yes,
movie.
it was
Yeah,
that movie, and and I was and I thought the soundtrack Heart of Madness was really cool. It was a
yeah.
really addition.
That to me,
Really
it
cool.
reminded me of Eye of the Tiger a little bit. It had that same kind of vibe. But I really liked that song. I always really digged it. I think it fit the movie really well, and has like when I think of movie montages, I usually think of like the Rocky films and whatnot, and movies with
Yeah,
great soundtracks. But I'd put Fist of the North Star, the movie, as one of the best montages,
yeah,
only behind Rocky 3. With Eye of the
yeah,
Tiger, I think that's great
yeah,
company to be in though. But yeah, I mean, when I first came across Fist of the North Star, it was through Street Fighter 2V. When
another great series.
another great series, because there was this comic store in Wollongong called Phantom Zone. The
Yeah,
town where we grew up.
yeah,
And Phantom Zone had a small manga and anime section. It wasn't huge, but this was in the late 90s, like 98, 99 maybe. Actually, if my memory serves me correctly, I bought
yeah,
my first volume of Street Fighter 2V when I was 10. So this was
yeah,
around 2000. I paid
yeah,
24.95 for the first volume, right, on VHS.
yeah.
And as soon as I played the tape in the machine, there were trailers. There was two trailers.
Yes.
There was Fist of the North Star and Ninja Scroll. And when I saw those, they showed all the
Yeah.
gory bits, and those
They
trailers were
they
awesome. Yeah,
they just had to bring out the
yeah,
most adult like movies suitable
yeah.
for adults, and then just wow.
Unbelievable. It's not like that anymore. Like this was,
No.
they were just figuring it out. They didn't know how to market anime just yet
Yeah.
to the West. So they figured, well, a lot of this stuff is violent, and because cultural differences,
Yeah.
because of cultural differences, the violence level had to be interpreted as being, well, this can't be for anyone younger than 15 or 18. So
Yeah.
15 and 18 ratings were common for a lot of anime, the kinds that they were releasing. I mean, this is separate from the DBZ Pokemon crowd,
Yeah.
because this was still like in the mid 90s. These tapes were coming from that period. So
Yeah.
when I was watching DBZ, Sailor Moon, Zoids, and Pokemon. So around that time, I didn't even know there was this manga video VHS thing going on, with like Ninja
Yeah.
Scroll and North Star. This was just before the Pokemon explosion hit Australia, at least. I know it was out in America just a little bit before that, but not by much. For us, it really exploded around 2000, whereas in
Yeah.
America, it was 98, 99. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting seeing that. When I
Yeah.
saw that VHS of Street Fighter 2V around
Yeah.
the 99 or 2000, whenever I got it.
It it was
Yeah,
3 episodes per tape, and there was like there was like 10 videotapes
That's right. And I
for
had
the
Volume
series.
One, which had those trailers. And when I saw those
Yeah,
trailers for Fist of the North Star and Ninja Scroll, I wanted to watch it. It blew my
yeah,
mind. I was like, I want to watch this. My dad was like,
yeah,
"You're not going to watch that." And then when I went to
yeah,
the video store, I looked at Ninja Scroll. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch that. It's R18."
yeah.
But Fist of the North Star was M rated. So I was like, maybe I could persuade dad to let me watch it.
And
And
an M rated for an anime that doesn't seem M15.
no, to me, that's like an MA or an R, at very least an MA, but it should have gotten an R rating as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned. I mean, Julia shows her boobs in it, for a
yeah,
second. So that's one shot, I guess. But
yeah,
no, I mean, I watched it with dad, and my dad at the end of it was like, "You're never watching that again." And I was like, "Damn." So I couldn't watch it for a while, after
yeah,
that because he was shocked. He had never seen animation like that before, and I don't blame him.
yeah,
Anybody who's not used to seeing something like that,
yeah,
it's just crazy. But shortly after, though, when I went to Phantom Zone,
yeah,
they had the manga of Fist of the North Star. They had
yeah,
the single 32-page comic style
yeah,
releases, and they were like $4 a piece. So I
yeah,
wound up buying four of them. The guy at the store sold them to me because there was no rating saying how old you had to be. This was before the rating
yeah,
system, really, at least to my knowledge. There wasn't any. There's no ratings on this. Like, where's the rating?
yeah,
Nowhere.
yeah.
Doesn't say what age
Yeah.
group. Nothing. So
Well, ratings won't
that
mean
means
anything
squat.
because
Yeah,
we're old, and even like with seinen. Well, for those who aren't
seinen.
familiar, seinen adult
Well,
manga.
this is the interesting thing now. Fist of the North Star could be considered a seinen right now.
It's a possibility. I
It's
mean,
a
like,
it's a borderline seinen. In fact,
yeah,
I would say it is a seinen because it's so dark.
yeah,
The subject matter, the tyrants, the world that it's set in, the
yeah,
cruelty, the blood and
yeah,
violence, the foul language. It's really like, geez, like this is not shonen by today's standards. Today's
yeah,
standards, it's you know, but yeah, I mean, that's just crazy to think. But
yeah,
after I saw the manga, I became a fan. Then all of a sudden, of course,
yeah,
others. There was a period where I wasn't into anime and I just forgot about it.
yeah,
But then Discotek all of a sudden started releasing the original anime series in
yeah,
English complete, and I was like, I'm buying all that, and I did, and I
yeah,
loved the show. But I have
yeah,
to admit, it has aged.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. The I actually did watch the whole series, and it was really amazing. And the anime shit may seem a bit like choppy, but it was still good. Like the story was still there. It was still the
yeah,
same as the manga.
I
And
agree. Go ahead. Sorry.
and the scenes were really like there's some scenes that get you emotional. Like you can even cry, mainly tears.
Yeah, well, look, there's
Yeah,
definitely moments where I first watched the series because I had never seen the series. I read the manga to all of these basically, so 44 chapters, right up
yeah,
till the end of the Jaggy arc. So I knew the story, and I thought the anime followed it pretty well. You
yeah.
know, although there was a lot of padding.
Too many fillers.
Yeah, too much filler. Where they expanded it out too
Yeah,
much. I'm like, the manga moved at a much faster pace, which I prefer.
yeah,
But the anime, on the other hand, has some good voice acting for the time. The
yeah,
soundtrack is great, and it does a faithful job at really telling the story.
yeah,
Could they have removed all that filler? Yes, 100%. And that's what I did when I watched it. I actually followed a
yeah,
cheat list to get to the point of the story because the Shin arc in
yeah,
particular really drags. It should have been over in 10 episodes, not
yeah,
20. It didn't
yeah,
need to go. For whatever reason, they added all that filler. And the only good thing I can say they did with that filler was the character of Lynn. They showed a little
yeah,
bit more of her than they did in the manga, to my recollection.
yeah.
but I find myself just following the cheat list whenever I watch the series
Yeah,
because it doesn't really need to be there. It just drags the story.
yeah.
But I think a reboot of the series would be in order.
No, it would do a lot of good, and it would bring a lot of people who are fans of the Dragon Ball JoJo
Mm,
to start watching the series that started
the
the whole
originator,
craze.
yeah,
Yeah,
the originator of the genre, basically. I mean, well,
yeah,
the one that I would say really cemented the shonen, the battle
yeah,
shonen that we know today.
yeah.
The one that really kickstarted it,
Predecessor, I would
predecessor.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much so. And to this day, I still think it is the best one
yeah,
for me personally. But here's the thing: like, why did the manga not take off? Like Viz Media,
yeah,
like I said, licensed this thing in '89 up
yeah,
until they held a license up until '97. So for 8 years, they were releasing this thing and they didn't finish it. Then
yeah.
all of a sudden, Raijin Comics tried. They went a little further. But why do you think it didn't take off? I mean, what do you
Um,
think, Bob?
I would probably think like because there was not enough people interested in this series, or it just wasn't enough customers in like well people in like wanting to buy or read it, or they just not many fans at that time, like compared to
Mm.
the the latest series.
And I think you're right there because when I was growing up, I never really knew many people who were into it. I think I had one friend from way back when who remembered it because he had the tape as well of the animated movie.
Like
But yeah,
it's
that was
like
it.
yeah, like I think no, I'm saying like before like 2000s or whatever.
Yeah, before.
It's people like you only got a few people who like Fist of North Star, like Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, Ninja Storm,
Yeah, that
all
whole
the
the
the good
first wave,
movies.
the first
Yeah, the
wave of
first wave,
anime
and then
releases.
but the majority of the people, it's just like Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and all those,
Yeah, I
or
think
in the big three like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach.
Bleach.
Yeah,
And you bring that up. That's interesting because I think you are 100% right here. I think it's really down to bad timing more than anything. I mean, think about it. 1989, the year you were born, right?
yeah, yeah. That's right.
In the West, like Western countries like Australia, America, England, Canada, right? I mean, internationally, I don't know the success rate of Fist of the North Star other than out of Japan and Italy. Those are the two big markets. So
Yeah,
they probably had mixed response in other countries too. Um, but in '89, here in Australia, in America, Canada, anime still wasn't a thing. I mean, you had Robotech in the mid
no,
'80s, but that was again more of a niche thing. It was successful, but it wasn't really like as big as Ninja Turtles or Transformers, for example.
no.
But '89 anime and manga was still new. It was a very niche thing, and not many
Yeah,
people knew about it. And I think
more more likely like unknown,
mostly
more
unknown.
like
It was
unknown.
very underground, very underground. And it wasn't until the Pokemon explosion of '98 in the States and soon to follow the rest of the world, us
Yeah,
around '99, 2000. But it wasn't until then when anime and manga had arrived. But it was still in that we're just getting used to it phase, Dragon Ball Z,
yeah,
Pokemon, you know, Sailor Moon
yeah,
from '98 to 2001, 2002. Now, 2003, Raijin Comics, tried to bring Fist of the North Star back in color,
yeah,
right? Full color. That's what Tetsuo Hara wanted, the artist of Fist of the North Star. He wanted Fist of the North Star in color. He felt that it should have been in color from the start. It didn't make a difference.
yeah,
But why? Well, 2003 was the year of the big three: Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach.
yeah,
How are you going to compare with that? That was just like anime had officially
yeah,
arrived. Manga and anime had
yeah,
officially arrived, and North Star
Yeah.
just got buried because it was an older series and it was more
Yeah.
mature than
Yeah.
Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, because the audience in
Yeah.
2003 probably would have been our age. You know, we're
Yeah.
part of that generation that
And
experienced it.
I'll say it was because I would feel it's because the characters that are in the big three,
They
the
were younger.
majority feel more related to those characters, and at because they're at that age, because the main characters are like in their
Teens,
like, yeah, the
15,
teens and late
16.
teens, mid
Yeah.
teens and late teens. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's basically us, isn't it? Because at that age, we
Yeah.
were about 13, 14 years old when that was
Yeah.
big. Oh,
And
that was a big deal.
and and you got like Kenshiro, the main character of Fist of the North Star,
25
around
plus.
yeah, 25 plus,
Yeah.
and his muscles think tell you otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
people would assume like he's like 30 or whatever because of the way he looks.
Of his size, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, Kenshiro is over 25 years old at least in the
Yeah.
beginning of the manga, at the very least. You see him
Yeah.
change as the series goes on, but
And it was I think it was
yeah.
the same case for JoJo, like parts 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, even though Jojo in Phantom Blood, I believe, was 17 years old, but he looked jacked. Like he looked
Yeah.
huge. But that was the thing.
Yeah.
Even when they were drawing manga in the 80s, right, and early 90s, early to mid
Yeah.
90s, they were jacked, man, because you know why?
Yeah.
Around that time, the Japanese were really taking a lot of influence from Hollywood style movies, right? Like
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger and Stallone. Obviously, if you look at Fist of the North Star, Kenshiro
Yeah.
starts to slowly change from Bruce Lee to Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone. And he just gets bigger. I'm like, what
Yeah.
happened? Okay, he got older. That's what
Yeah.
we say. Because you
Yeah.
could say that Ken was younger looking, but that was just
Yeah.
Hara doing his thing. He was taking influence from tons of
Yeah.
American pop culture things and Reef working it for his own style. And it looked
Yeah.
fantastic. It really did.
Yeah.
But I think that age is really the case. I mean, I think, do you think Fist of the North Star now would be a success compared to the last two
Um,
times they tried?
I really hope so. They would be better, and they'll be going on like till the series finishes. Hope
Most
they keep
definitely.
going.
I certainly hope so too. I mean, I'm feeling a bit more optimistic this time
Yeah.
because if you look at the Facebook like counter for that post, it
Yeah.
was 4,000. You know, it's over
Yeah.
4,000, something like that. And which is crazy because compared to all of VIZ's other
Yeah.
posts I had seen in the past couple of months, there was no more than 1,000 to 500 likes. But when Fist of the
Yeah.
North Star post came up,
Yeah.
4,000. I'm like, that shows
Yeah.
people are excited
And
or interested at
and
least.
a lot of shares were done as well.
And I think the excitement is there. And I think it's been a long time coming because the audience has grown up.
Yeah.
That's what's helped here. I think the timing now is better than ever. For one, we have grown up, the audience has grown up, you know, because like we said before, the last time they tried in 89, manga and anime was still new. It wasn't really a thing in the West. 2003, it was the year of the big three. We were 13 years old. We wanted characters that we
Yeah.
related to then. And which is interesting because even saying that, I think teenagers in Japan read Fist of the North Star. This was for like 10, 13-year-old kids, and they related to
Yeah.
it. It's like, well, you learn more from your eldest, not the youngest,
Yeah.
even though you may not relate to them. But I think there is maybe that sense of respecting your elders more. You learn
Yeah.
more from the older and wiser person, which is something that has kind of been forgotten in the more recent
Yeah.
years. But I think now is really the time. The audience has grown up, and the success of JoJo has proven there is a demand for, you know, this more edgier kind of shonen style.
Yeah.
And the anime also helped push that. But Fist of the North Star has been referenced in memes and countless other media, and people
Yeah.
go, oh, I recognize that. And it might be leading them to be more curious to actually see where it came from. And
Yeah.
hopefully they will fall in love with it because it's a truly great story.
Yeah,
Fist of the North Star really is an epic story. You know, the
yeah,
way I see it, to me, it has that same kind of epic size that something like Lord of the Rings would. You know, it has that kind of
yeah,
vibe to it, that big scale to it that I just can't explain it. You have to just read it.
yeah. Read
But
it and read the manga, watch the anime.
yes,
Ignore the fillers, but you'll see what we mean.
oh, totally. It's truly remarkable, and not enough people give it credit. But
Yeah,
hopefully now is the time. And if you think about it, we really need Fist of the North Star now. It's the best time to release it, not just because the audience has grown up, but the world around us, man, with what's happening with, COVID, with politics, everyone's all
yeah.
divided and angry. We need,
It's more
yeah,
the whole situation right now this year. It's like destroying us, and we need something
hope.
that could save us.
We need a sense of hope. We need to feel
Yeah,
better, and sense that, hey, look, it's not all doom and gloom. Fist of the North Star is kind of like that. It's set in the
yeah,
post-apocalyptic world where we've basically fucked
yeah,
ourselves up. The
yeah,
war has torn us apart, and this one guy emerges, this one savior. Granted,
yeah,
he's fighting violence with violence, but he never
yeah,
initiates it. He always gives someone a fair point. Kenshiro is a
yeah,
symbol of positive masculinity in a sense, but not just masculinity, but positive nature. Really,
yeah,
he's doesn't want to have to beat people. He just happens to be really good
yeah,
at doing it,
yeah.
and he chooses to
Like,
use his power for good.
yeah, it's like
You know,
I would take this quote from a video game, but it's like the world in the Fist of the North Star is the desert, and Kenshiro is the oasis. Does that make sense?
that's pretty much it. And you're not wrong because he's basically tearing down tyranny,
Yeah,
and right now it's looking pretty tyrannical, which is
yeah,
scary to say. So
yeah,
people, I think, you know, have been too complacent with kind of, light and fluffy kind of anime and manga. It's time to get a little bit more serious,
yeah,
and maybe focus on, hey, look, you need to really take what's going on around you a little bit seriously. You should have
yeah,
hope as well. Yes, Fist of the North Star has plenty of hope, but I think it'll be very relatable for the times we're living in. People are changing. It's changed literally within less than a year. Can you believe that?
yeah,
So I think Fist of the North Star is now more relevant for readers than anything that's out there right now. And there isn't a lot out there, you know.
yeah. True that.
It's a really important series that I think people need to read at this point, and I think it will do better. I certainly hope it does, and judging by the excitement on that page, I mean, it's still pretty
Yeah.
quiet. Like there hasn't been many videos done on YouTube
No.
about the news. So we're doing one. There's only the Anime Hero done the reaction,
Yeah.
and we're doing this. And there was, I think, one other video that was
Yeah.
done. That's it, and the rest is just Facebook and news posts, and there's not enough shares of that. So hopefully, with this video,
Yeah.
we'll reach out to people, and
So
you know,
true.
I really think this is an important series to release, and I'm super excited for it. You know,
Yeah. Me too. I mean, uh, and also wanted to talk about the style that Ken uses in
mm.
Fist of North Star, Hokuto Shinken,
Yes,
heavily inspired by Bruce Lee's Jikundo.
yep, that's true.
Yeah.
And there's lots of influences in Fist of the North Star, and for anybody who's a film fan
Yeah.
or is at least familiar with Bruce Lee and Mad Max, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
the best way I could describe for all of you guys out there who have never read Fist of the North Star or have just heard of it,
Yeah.
basically it's Mad Max starring Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe it. It's like Mad Max meets Fist of Fury, really. You know?
Pretty much that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That is
Like,
incredible.
and Kenshiro being the defender of the weak.
Pretty much, and one thing I can say is for people who did read the manga or at least watch the anime, I think kind of were turned off by how long it took for the story to kind of really gel. because it really does become something else after the Jaggy arc. So after chapter 44, guys, if you're watching this, keep reading. Once you get to the Jaggy story, the end of chapter 44, that's when it really starts to become something else, really good. So stick with it. Do not quit after volume 1. Keep going with it.
Yeah.
And the
No, no,
manga
no,
moves
no,
faster.
no, no. Scratch that. Just read the manga till you finish the whole thing, whole series. Just
Yeah,
read
finish
all
it.
the way.
But it really is something to behold. Fist of the North Star is influenced so much, and yet so many
Yeah,
people have not really read it properly, because it's been online in scanlation format. Don't read the scanlations, in my honest
yeah,
opinion. It's just, it does the job, but it's not the proper translation. I mean, it isn't official, for one thing, and two, the artwork in some of those scanlations is blurry. Like the scans are just bad. They're not.
yeah. Some like I've done my share of watching of like reading scanlations, but they don't they're not always like top
No,
quality.
not the best. And to get a new translation, authentic translation, is really good. And if we're getting Fist of the North Star and those beautiful hardcovers like JoJo,
Yeah,
that is going to be
yeah,
something to really just hold in your hand, and go, wow, this is going to look great on my shelf, because they're going to be larger than the normal standard volume sizes.
yeah,
So in June next year, sometime around then, be prepared, because Fist of the North Star will be back in
yeah,
English through VIZ in a hardcover format.
yeah. Looking forward to it, man.
We're definitely going to go there day one. We're going to go get our copies and pick them up and go, Hokuto Hyakuretsuken. You know,
Yakuretskin.
that's right. We will definitely
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
That's going to be a great day.
yeah. Definitely, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
anything else to add, Bobby?
Um. Yeah. Also, I think I mentioned before that Hokuto Shinken has been inspired by like Bruce Lee's Jeet It it's really interesting on like how there were other styles like in being like incorporated into that style. Like you got Wing Chun because of the 100 crack fist.
Yep.
JKD because of the Bruce Lee stance,
Mm-hmm.
and there probably would have been like other forms of kung fu as well
I think I
because
saw. Would you say there was a bit of Kenpo karate in there too?
it
A little bit when he gets the
yeah,
sticks as well,
the
and
the
the
thing with Hokuto Shinken is like you it's not just like pressure point fighting, but you can
no,
also like use other styles as well.
no,
Like
that's true.
in like in some cases like you got Kenshiro using a Nanto Seiken, Fist of the
Mm.
South Star.
Yeah, well, that's where I was mentioning like the Kenpo karate thing with the knife hands kind of
Yeah,
motions, the very fast, you know, knife
yeah,
hand slashing. I kind
yeah.
of recognize that because I'm a fan of Jeff Speakman, as you know,
Yeah.
and I think he's a great martial artist. And I saw a little bit of that.
The perfect weapon was
Perfect
it?
Weapon, yeah. With Fist of the North Star, it's been long overdue. It's been a long time coming, Bob, and we're
Yeah,
now getting it in manga,
so
officially
true.
translated. It's finally happening, and for those of you out there, go out and buy it now. Like as soon
Please,
as pre-order,
please do.
put your pre-orders in, because we cannot have Fist of the North Star fail this time. The time is
No,
now. The time is now to read it, and it's highly recommended. Just stick with it. Trust me.
you're not gonna be disappointed.
You shouldn't be disappointed. And if you are, then, well, can't help you there. But it's pretty
D-
strange to think that, anybody
Yeah,
would disregard Fist of the
yeah,
North Star, because there's a lot to like in it. And you just have to take the story as it is
yeah,
and what kind of story it's telling. It is a story that it is dark, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, there isn't really any female characters that are necessarily strong. That is one criticism I can give it. There are a couple of female characters in there. Mamiya, of course, is definitely the strongest female character in the story.
Yeah.
Admittedly, she is not a Hokuto master or a Nanto Seiken
He,
master.
he she's not even a martial artist, but she
No,
does fight.
but she does command her own village and town, and she definitely
yeah,
has guts. She stands up for herself, all things considering.
yeah,
And Julia, or Yuria, Kenshira's wife, fiance,
yeah,
she is
yeah,
interesting. I mean, at first I thought, okay, she's just a damsel in distress, right? She's just
yeah.
Ken's missus. But she turns out to be something really important later on. So it's
Let's not
no
spoil.
spoiler, but there is a significance
Just
to her character. Let's just say that.
yes,
I will not say what it is, but there's a significance to her character. But that's as
yeah,
much as I'll say. So they do try to push that to show that yes,
yeah,
this will be progressive in some ways.
yeah,
But it primarily is definitely a man's story, really, in
yeah,
a sense. It is a very masculine story, but even so, I do recommend everybody read this because
yeah,
there are some important aspects to it to read
yeah,
that raise a lot of questions. You know,
yeah,
read North
yeah,
Star when it comes out. Stick with it and really get immersed into it. Like really sit down quietly somewhere, just
yeah,
with no distractions, and get immersed into that world because it is truly spectacular.
yeah.
It not only has plenty of action and gore and stuff, it's got a really great story, powerful characters, and you know, some
Powerful themes as well.
themes, and there's a lot of raw emotion to it. Really raw
Yeah,
emotion, and it broke the stereotype that men don't cry. You know,
yeah,
it really did. So to say men do not express their emotions, well, it's not about not being able to express them. It's about controlling them. That's the confusion here. I mean, that is what we try to do.
yeah,
But yes, even we have emotions, so don't get it
yeah.
twisted. And Fist of the North Star demonstrates that. And
I
well,
think I would like to think that they took some inspirations from the Marvel comics as well with the quotes with
hmm,
like power responsibility.
it probably wouldn't surprise me, but I think it's a universal concept. It isn't
Yeah,
really something I think that's exclusive to
yeah,
American ideals or
yeah,
Western ideals or Eastern ideals. I think there is a lot of principles that are pretty straightforward, to
yeah,
understand. But overall, it wouldn't be surprising to see some influences jump back and forth because I think
yeah,
they both influenced each other in some ways.
yeah,
So it goes back
yeah.
and
Pretty
forth.
much.
But I
Yeah,
think you know, that's pretty much all I got to say about Fist of the North Star. It's just
yeah,
epic, and now's the time to start reading it because it's coming out in
yeah,
June next year in 2021.
yeah. I guarantee you guys, by the time you finish reading the series, well, even if you do start the series, you probably would start be hopefully you would be motivated to work out and practice martial arts and just
Bobby's a big martial artist, guys. He's a very big fan of it. I'm a fan too,
yeah,
but more of a
yeah.
film fan. I mean, I work out from
No,
time to time,
that's
but
good.
not like you, Bob. You're on it, man.
uh,
I
I'm
gotta
I'm
step
just
my
doing the
game up.
best I can for for you guys, and also to for men to not be afraid to just be themselves and just do the best they can.
Be
Just
good.
go out there
Be
the
good,
best you can.
men. That's what I can
Be good.
say. Kenshiro is basically that in a sense. I mean, yes, he's brutally destroying tons of people in his wake. He leaves a big mess, but in the context of the story, I think it's fair because all the people that he's going up against are really sick people, really horrible,
Yeah.
and he's the only hope, really. You know, God forbid we come to that point, but that's what the story's about. It's about, can a guy still be a hero with blood on his hands? Well, if you think about wars, winning wars
Yeah.
and stuff, we're calling our survivors and our war heroes heroes. So
Yeah.
if you look at it from that point of view, Kenshiro is definitely the hero. That's
Yeah.
simply it. I'm not going to mince
Pretty
words
much.
about it. But his
Yeah.
good qualities, his really nice and genuine qualities, he has them. So that's what to take from this series, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah, so true.
yeah,
Well,
great.
and even the bad guys, well, probably the stronger ones, you will see them cry
Yeah,
along
there's
the way.
they do make the villains three-dimensional. Some of them are two-dimensional, but they all have sort of a tragic story. You know,
Yeah,
aside from Jaggy, really, Jaggy's just pure scum.
no,
But people like Souther, you know, even Souther, as cruel as he is, even
yeah,
Rao, you know, they all have their
yeah,
reasons for what they believe the world should be.
yeah,
You know, and they also, but it's all wrong. They have been corrupted, you know, from power as well as, you know, tragedy from their past, which makes them what they are. They've just made them not
yeah,
relatable per se, but understandable at least. At least you understand why they're doing what they do. It doesn't mean it's good, but you can see it from their point of view. But you still want Kenshiro to triumph because ultimately these
yeah,
guys are just not fair to the world. Simple as that.
yeah, true.
So yeah, it's a pretty exciting time to be a Fist of the North Star fan. And you should play that new PS4 game that came out late 2018.
Yes,
If you want a great introduction before the manga comes out, guys, start with that game. That is phenomenal. If you like the
yes,
Yakuza series as well, you're going to love it even more because it's made by the same team and it has been rated as the best
yeah,
Fist of the North Star game ever made. Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, it's on PS4, so get it now. It's cheap and it's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
It's kind of a different take on the story, but when you read the manga,
yeah,
you'll be even more surprised because when you play the game, it tells you a slightly different version of the story. But when you read the manga, you're like, oh, this is cool. So it'll be a surprise in a new way. So for all you newcomers out there, you want a good place to start with Fist of the North Star? Play the
yeah,
PS4 game that just came out, Lost Paradise.
yeah, yeah. And I don't own the game, but I actually did play it at Emran's house, and I was amazed.
It was really good.
The 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 gameplay was really interesting, and
Yeah,
there was a lot of options. Like there's lot of stuff you can do
totally.
within the game.
There's building your character. It's an action RPG. So much like Yakuza, you power up your characters and whatnot. The whole game takes place in one city, but you can go out into the wasteland. But it's good that they could put it all in one city because it keeps it contained and you can follow things easily.
Yep,
So it's really cool in that aspect. The fighting system has been improved because the last games they made for Fist of the North Star were on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and that was Ken's Rage 1 and 2.
yep,
Basically, they were okay, but they were more like Dynasty Warriors, and I think that
yeah,
that repetitive gameplay didn't really do much for people. I think it did a good job at telling the story,
yeah.
you know, and did
I think that's the reason you play these games. It's for these types of games. It's for the story and the and I do agree with you with the gameplay. It just gets too repetitive. It's always like the same moves,
yeah, you don't power
same
up, you don't get, well, you do, but you
yeah,
don't. It doesn't feel like they really refined it. They made it just they made it like a beat 'em up game, like Streets of
yeah,
Rage. But here's the thing: Streets of Rage works in its style, but for Fist of the North Star, a three-dimensional game, you know, that's
yeah,
almost open world. You know, it needed more, and the controls weren't that great either. They were
yeah,
kind of buggy at times, so it wasn't terrible. Ken's Rage 1 and 2 weren't terrible games, but they were just average.
yeah,
But this new one, Lost Paradise from 2018, fantastic. It's everything Fist of the North Star should have been from the start as far as a modern game goes. And it's got good reviews. So if you haven't played it yet, check that out. And then if that doesn't get you to read the manga, then, you know, I can't
I don't
help
know.
you. We can't help you. But
Yeah,
go go check it out, guys. If you're an anime and manga fan, if you love action, you want deep emotional characters, Fist of the North Star is literally epic. But
do get into the series, guys. You will be amazed. You will.
yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it, and it's time to give it a chance for real this time, because I don't think enough people just didn't read it, because it was, like we said
No.
before, bad timing. In '89, nobody was really reading this stuff.
Yeah.
2003, we were still young and we were reading the
Yeah.
big three at the time, so it
Yeah.
got buried in the shuffle. And it just had a
Yep.
cult following in the people who did watch that first wave of anime and was following that underground scene.
Yeah.
And that's it, at least in the West.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like how we brought up before. It's like it may have been big in Japan and Italy, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it may have been big in those countries, but it wasn't
Western,
really the case for
yeah,
like
the Western
Amer-
countries. Yeah.
America, Australia as well. And now this is happening. Hopefully it will get big.
Well, I think it has a better chance now because, put it this way, they released Golgo 13. Viz Media released Golgo 13 in print, not all of it, but 13 volumes compiling all of it. Golgo
Yeah,
13 is even more obscure. And I love Golgo 13. I love The Professional. When I watched that, it blew my mind. That was another one of those
yeah,
great movies from the first wave.
yeah,
But they released that and they're still printing it. You can still get
yeah,
it from Viz Media's website, according to what they're offering, because I thought they would have
yeah,
removed it by now, but you can still get that. So if they can bring Golgo 13 and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Fist of the North
yeah.
Star, I'm sure it'll do even better than Golgo,
Definitely
that's for
deserves
sure.
another chance.
I think so. And who knows, maybe City Hunter's around the corner as well, because that's another great one.
Oh yeah, that's another good one. Tsukasa Hojo, was it?
Yeah, who has a close connection with Tetsuo Hara and Baronson,
Yeah,
who done Fist of the North Star.
yeah,
But yeah, City Hunter might be around the corner as well because, as you know, Bobby, Discotheque is now
yeah,
releasing the anime,
yeah. It is.
which is great.
And you did show me bits of it too. Yeah,
Yeah, it looked fantastic. We watched it a couple of episodes last time you were here,
yeah.
and that remaster is incredible. City Hunter looks great for
No, it looked as though it was made like just now, but like
yeah,
it's like we are
just the
going back
style.
to
Yeah,
we are going back to the 80s.
it was strange. I have seen episodes on YouTube and what was that streaming service that used to be on before they shut it down? Kiss Anime.
Kiss Anime.
Yeah, Kiss Anime had the whole series up there, but it was in like 480p and it was kind of grey looking. It was like an early DVD release. It didn't look great.
480p, it wouldn't have been like crystal clear to you.
No, it wasn't. It was passable. It was watchable, but I felt it could have been better. I know ADV done it on DVD at some point, but that was a long time ago, and they looked okay. But this new Blu-ray release that Discotheque has done, it's like they wiped fog off a window. The
Yeah,
colors were so vibrant, the edges were razor sharp. You can tell it's an late 80s, early 90s anime, but it's clean. The animation is very smooth. It looked fantastic. And season two looks even better because they improved
yeah,
the actual animation in the later seasons. So it still holds up from a visual perspective, even though it is of its time. It just looks clean, really nice.
yeah,
And it's fun. It's just a fun series you can chuck on
yeah.
at any time, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about the Jackie Chan City Hunter, by the way.
No, that's another topic for another time. Once City
Yeah,
Hunter is licensed, we'll probably do another video about it. But
yeah,
City Hunter is another great anime and manga from the 80s and early 90s. So that's another
yeah,
one to watch out for as well. It's really, really a lot of fun. And there was a
yeah,
recent animated movie made about that recently. They've
yeah,
done a soft reboot. So go on Crunchyroll. It's all up there. You
yeah.
can watch the series on
And
Crunchyroll
then what's also
and the new
interesting
movie.
about what's also interesting about that movie is that they actually brought back the voice actors from
Yeah,
the old anime series.
they got Akira Kamiya back as Rio, who also voices Kenshiro in the anime of Fist of the North Star. So
Yep.
two iconic characters he's done right there. But he's a great
Yeah.
voice actor, iconic.
Thank you all for watching, and if you do like this video, give it a like, subscribe to our channels. Shoot the link down below.
Share this video. Share it
Please share it.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's get the word out there. Fist of the North Star is back, baby.
You are shocked.
What the